Hello, today I'm going to be talking about Johannes Brahms. So for some background, Brahms was a German composer, pianist, and conductor of the Romantic period. He was born on May 7th, 1833 in Hamburg into a Lutheran family, but spent much of his professional life in Vienna. He died on April 3rd, 1897 in Vienna, Austria. His influencers were Beethoven, Mozart, Haydn, Franz Schubert, and some of the early Romantic composers had a major influence, particularly Schumann, who encouraged him as a young composer. He studied the music of pre-classical composers including Giovanni, Gabrieli, Johann Adolf Hasse, Henrik Schütz, Domenico Scarlatti, George Friedrich Handel, and especially Johann Sebastian Bach. In 1830, he married Johanna Henrika Christiane Niesen, a seamstress who was 17 years older than he was. Johannes Brahms also had an older sister and a younger brother. He was skilled in several instruments, but found employment mostly playing the horn, double bass, and piano. He won the Bavarian Maximilian Order for Science and Art Award and the Austrian Decoration for Science and Art Award. Some unique characteristics: he was more of a disciple of the classical tradition. He wrote in many genres, including symphonies, concerti, chamber music, piano works, and choral compositions, many of which reveal the influence of folk music. Most other composers of the time only used 21 chords derived from the tonic, dominant, and subdominant, but Brahms would utilize all 49. This allowed him to establish a tonal region so he could stretch conventional chords and progressions to modulate musical ideas slowly. Another aspect of Brahms's music is the inclusion of an ostinato. Most of his music is based on an ostinato figure that sets the sound of the music by first establishing and continuing a baseline musical idea. Another interesting effect of his music is found in his use of hemiola, which serves as a polyrhythmic figure in much of his music. Some music work examples. First one I chose was Intermezzo. This was a part of the Fantasies, a set that consists of 7 pieces entitled Capriccio or Intermezzo. And I think in this piece that you find a sense of loneliness. I'm going to play it for you. Let's make sure the volume's up. So I thought that was a really nice piece. The second one that I chose was Wingnalid. I think that's how you say it. This is a lullaby melody, and it's one of the most famous and recognizable in the world, used by many parents to sing their babies to sleep. I'm sure once I play this, you will know what I'm talking about. So that is the classic lullaby. The third piece I chose was Cello Sonata. It was written for, dedicated to, and first performed by Robert Hassmann, who had popularized the first sonata. Another really nice piece, and the last one's a little bit hard to hear, but this one is Brahms plays his Hungarian dance. These are a set of 21 lively dance tunes based mostly on Hungarian themes and are among Brahms's most popular works and were the most profitable for him. So that one was a little bit more muffled. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be that way or not, but that was the last of the music examples that I had found. Next, moving on to music period. The Romantic period began in 1830 and ended in the 1900s, as compositions became increasingly expressive and inventive. Expansive symphonies, virtuosic piano music, dramatic operas, and passionate songs took inspiration from art and literature. Famous Romantic composers include Takiovsky, very hard to pronounce, definitely wasn't right, Brahms, Mahler, and Verdi. This era is known for its intense energy and passion. The rigid forms of classical music gave way to greater expression, and music grew closer to art, literature, and theater. Beethoven introduced Romanticism and expanded previously strict formulas for symphonies and sonatas. He introduced a whole new approach to music, giving his works references to other aspects of life. Romantic composers prioritized the emotional and narrative content of the music above its form, which is why they broke many of the classical composers' rules. They didn't reject or break the musical language developed during the classical period, they used its forms as a foundation for their work. Composers of this era saw music as a means of individual and emotional expression. They considered music the art form most capable of expressing the full range of human emotion. As a result, Romantic composers broadened the scope of the emotional content. And lastly are the extras that I included. This is a live performance of an orchestra. They were playing one of Brahms's pieces. So that's just a little snippet of that. It was a really beautiful video. I didn't watch all 38 minutes, but I would recommend watching at least most of it. It is very nice. And the last thing that I added was an interview. Let's see.
You probably know me.
Just an ad.
If you know me at all, as someone who does.
So this is Andras Schiff, on his piano concerto.